One of my favorite treats of the holiday season is Gabriel's cake. It's a super sauce based on Gabriel's horn that you can make right at home. The first thing you want to do is bake a cake. The next step is sauce. As you may be able to guess, the next step is going to be to cut Neanderthals in half. Such a cake has an interesting mathematical property. Its the amount of cake it contains is clearly no different than the amount you started with, but its surface area is infinite. It's a cake you can eat, but not eat. You would need an infinite amount of food to cover the whole thing with a uniform coat, an object with finite volume. But infinite surface area doesn't need to be endlessly tall, by the way. There are bounded supersolids, like logic, with an infinite number of smaller and smaller circular holes. Enter the super task. What if, instead of taking the same amount of time to complete each step, we accelerated as we worked and did each step in half the time as the last? Such a super task has an interesting mathematical property. It's great. For example, let's say you want to time, well, that's easy. First, cut and then wait a minute before making the second cut. Wait half a minute before making the third, a quarter of a minute before the fourth, and so on. Always waiting for half of what's left to pass before cutting again. Since you can keep cutting forever, there will always be another step. Infinite actions within a finite amount of time. What we've just described is similar to Zeno's famous paradox of the paradox, in which the Greek hero Vsauce runs. He can clearly finish, people finish all the time, but how exactly it's finished is a mystery. Because first, Achilles must cover and then half of what's left and half again and again and again. There is no final destination, after which Achilles' next stop is the finish line. But yet, Achilles obviously can finish. He somehow reaches them all, despite the fact that during his journey he always has an infinite number of steps left to reach. A true super task requires doing infinitely many distinct actions. Fair enough. But even if Achilles ran the race in a staccato fashion, stopping at each halfway point for half as long as he waited at the last one, the scenario would still be sensical and logical and would complete in a finite amount of time. The point is, fine. Infinite, distinct actions are at least logically possible to do in a finite amount of time, but only logically, only as a mathematical abstraction. And as always, thanks for watching.